Hey guys, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto here in Japan, and welcome to an auction purchase walk around. This is a 1992 Toyota Supra JZA70, and so that makes it the 1JZ inline 6-cylinder twin turbo 2.5 liter engine version of the Supra. And so any car that has a 1JZ or a 2JZ, people automatically think is a lot cooler. This engine gets 3 thumbs up from me. One of the best engines that Toyota has ever made. This one here, the car was bought from auction in Japan, and this is going to be exported to the USA. And so these Supras, for the first few years, they came with a 1G engine, 7M engine, and I believe you can get them even with a 5M engine. But the 1JZ engine is only on the late model versions, and the engine kind of makes the package. Since this vehicle is going to be exported to the USA, this engine is a big deal because any car in Japan that has this engine tends to sell for a lot more if it's immediately importable to the States. This one is immediately importable, and so prices for these tend to be no lower than $1,000,000 yen ever. And then this one here is not in the best of conditions. I'm going to go over the auction sheet so you can see that, and I'll go over the flaws in the vehicle. But I can say that it was bought for considerably less than kind of the bottom price of $1,000,000 yen that we typically quote people. So let's take a look at what we have. The engine seems to run really well, which is a very good sign because it was completely empty of oil. Now I put in an extra 2 liters of oil, and that brought it up to the halfway point. We're going to ship it like that. That's enough for a safety oil, but then when you get the car, make sure you change that oil. The coolant seemed to be okay. And then these are typically really robust and reliable engines. Puts out 280 horsepower and easily modifiable from there for more power if you want. Now I'm breaking my own company rules here because we don't have the pop-up headlights up, so let me switch those on. We're going to lower the hood. Switch on the headlights, and we have a set of aftermarket headlights in here. The lenses are crystal Ray Brig lenses. Okay, having a quick look in here, we have aftermarket air filter with induction pipe. We have aftermarket suspension. A struts tower bar used to go here, but it has been removed, and a blow-off valve for your pshoo sound when you're driving. It is an authentic JZA70, and no modifications to any of the chassis or anything like that. This is being used for the hood prop because the air shocks don't work anymore. It actually says on here in Japanese, bonnet support. And so you're not confused as to what this is for. Put the bonnet support down. Okay, have a quick look at the car before we go to the auction sheet. And just while we're looking at it here, take a look. This is considered the wide body version. It came in 2 different widths. All the American ones were the wide body version. And there's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm going to skip it. In Japan, you can get them in narrow or wide body, and this one here is the wide body. They call this the Type R version of the car. Okay, and take a look at that badge. The loveliness of the badge, 2.5 liter twin turbo. That's the badge that gives you the smiles. Okay, run the engine, don't run the engine. I don't know. I'm going to turn it off. The engine doesn't seem to have any problems whatsoever though. Starts up, clutch feels good, shifting feels good. I did drive it around the block, and yeah, it's really nice driving, which is good because it does need a lot of work with the body, interior, the paint, and other things. So here's the auction sheet. This is the information, and it is a lot here, and so it's going to take us a little extra time to go over this. You can skip ahead a few minutes if you don't want to go over the condition, but this is the information given to us at the time of purchase. It's a 1992 Supra 2.5 GT Twin Turbo R. I guess I called it a Type R, but it's a Twin Turbo R is the official name. 2.5 liter, auction grade R because it's been in an accident. The body looks pretty straight as far as accident damage goes, and so it was a minor accident from what I can tell. Interior C, 144,550 kilometers on it, 5-speed manual, power steering, power windows, original black color. And the sales points here from the seller, Volk Racing 17-inch wheels. Just give you a quick look at them. They seem to be in really good condition, and tires are 2015. And so usually when we see these wheels, they tend to be in worse condition than these ones are. They're not perfect, and there's a little bit of like aluminum corrosion but not a lot. And the 2015 ATR Sport tires are a nice thumbs up. Okay, so aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket adjustable suspension, coilovers, Momo steering wheel, and aftermarket driver's seat. It is a full bucket seat, and so not the kind that you can recline, not the typical type of seat that you would like for a street car. So will need to be changed if you want to drive this as a street car, if you want to be able to enter and exit the car with any sort of ease. Okay, fender arches have been modified. They've been kind of rolled in order to fit the bigger tires and wheels on there, or more aggressive, lower offset. Extra gauges in the car, not known if they work. This is now a two-seater because the rear seat pieces have been removed and a lot of the interior panels have been removed. In 2001, June 14th at 101,391 kilometers, the timing belt was changed according to a sticker in the engine bay. It says the engine makes a strange sound, possibly turbo. I didn't notice that, but I didn't get the car into boost when I drove it. And so this car is going to require a test drive so that I can test that. But this is information given to us at the time of buying the car. I don't really know. I'm going to test it after I shoot this video. Okay, rear accident repaired. Seat side wear and rip, interior dirty and stained, dashboard comes up and cracked. The cracks are luckily right here where you can't see them from the inside. And then the part where it comes up, also they're cracked over there, is right where the cracks are. And there's a bit of separation between the gauge bezel and the top of this kind of soft touch material, but you can't notice it very well when you're inside the car. Okay, rear spoiler has been removed, leaving holes, and I have to say this car looks better without the spoiler, but it looks better still if you fill those holes. Engine oil leak I couldn't find, and it's not dripping down onto the floor here. Hood damper doesn't work. Rear floor and left rear inner panel dented. Left rear fender replaced. Wheels scratched and caps missing. Oh, it's true. The center caps are missing. But you can just measure the center caps, so you can get caps to say whatever you want. They're a universal piece. Where are we at here? Okay, aftermarket shift knob wear is actually quite a lot of wear for an aftermarket shift knob, especially one that's not made out of leather. And what is this? Tire house covers removed. Typically when you run a more aggressive wheel, you have to do that, or when you're lowering it more than a certain amount. And then the left power window doesn't work. In fact, it's left a little bit open here, so we're going to have to tape that shut. And that's why I'm shooting this one in a different order than it came in, because I got a few other cars that we need to check. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 other cars I need to check, and this one we're scooting in a little bit ahead of time because I need to do that before the rain comes. Okay, so peeling paint on the front fender and the door on this side, peeling paint on the roof, crack in the front piece here. The body actually doesn't have a lot of scratches or dents, and then the back lens is cracked, and uneven paint and peeling paint in the back. Okay, now I will go once around. I'm going to show you this first though. You can see the peeling paint in the door. There's a dent there underneath the door mirror. And in fact, the body has probably a little bit more damage to it than the auction sheet would let on. But considering how much peeling paint there is on the car, it probably needs to have a repaint anyway. And you kind of want to do it all at the same time. If you do one panel here and one panel there, it doesn't really match properly. Okay, now I got full pictures, a lot of pictures of this car, of various things that are broken, like scratches, dents, and stuff like that. So I won't dwell on it too much. So let's go once around and have a look at the car. See what I mean about the back there? I think it's a better look without the spoiler. I don't like the spoilers that wrap around like this one does. And so the regular spoiler comes all the way back to midway to that window. And I just don't think that it's a cool looking design these days. You get the taillights of the Koki model plus the twin turbo. They do look differently. They have the three lines there. Okay, the aftermarket exhaust has a silencer on it that sounds kind of buzzy and stupid, but take the silencer out and I bet it'll sound good. The 1J is an engine that's hard to make it sound bad, especially with a free-flowing exhaust. It's very nice. Okay, I would love to see a car manufacturer make pop-up headlights again. Unfortunately, it doesn't work very well with today's styling. Have a look here. Okay, so front bumper. I believe this is the original front bumper. You can see it's a little bit bumped in there on the one side. Has ports there for your brake cooling. There's a front mount intercooler on it. I believe it's the stock front mount. It doesn't look like an aftermarket one for sure. It's painted black. Okay, the paint on the hood looks like it's hard to tell the condition of the paint. You can see it's really, really dirty, and it looks like the paint needs to have a buff to see the condition of it underneath that. Here's the faded paint on the roof. And then the pieces like this, all of these pieces have the paint. The original paint is this rubberish vinyl wrapping on it, and it's peeling up in a number of places. So take this, like peel it completely off and probably repaint those, and it'll make the car look a lot fresher. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wiper is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Really, Toyota, did you need to put 15 different bolts on the back of your car? I don't think so. And then the rear bumper, here's the uneven paint. You can see it's kind of like had faded, or it wasn't painted with automotive grade paint. Okay, stepping into the car. Let's open that all the way carefully. There we go. I'm going to turn the accessory on. Okay, the AC doesn't seem that cold. Missing this piece. It's a little plastic piece that goes on both sides. Should be able to use the same as the American market version of it. A little place to stash your goodies. Too small for a drink. I don't know what you're going to put in that. iPhone can go there. Yeah. Okay, big doors. Holy moly. How are you going to get out of this car? Especially in Japan where parking lots are tight. Okay, so you have an extra 2 up here, water temp and oil temp. They are dancing around a little bit. I don't think it's a big problem though. I think you should be able to find out what the problem is and address it pretty easily. Seems like the steering wheel is smaller than the stock one. We have all the lights on just because it's in accessory mode. When you turn the car on, all of those go out except for the one for the rear tail lights seems to go on. I like the way that this dashboard works because this gauge panel extends up until the top of the waterfall section, and that's unique and something that you don't see these days. I think it looks cool. You got the boost gauge in here, your battery gauge, climate control AC, big ashtray for the big smokers. The interior doesn't smell bad. In fact, it has the Japanese car smell mixed with a little bit of dust and old carness, maybe a little bit of tobacco. I'd be very surprised if the car hasn't been smoked in. Weird cup holder here. I mean, I don't think it would be bad for putting cups in, but it's weird that it's kind of like you would expect this to, I don't know, open in a different way. I at least did. Retractable mirrors, and they work. Leather, aftermarket leather piece to cover stuff underneath. Oh, there's cup holders in here. Weird. Okay, so here's the seat. Very functional, not very good looking. It's all faded. And I kind of dread these seats because I have to get in and out of them a lot. I'm skinny, and so I can fit in them nicely, but if you are not skinny like me, very uncomfortable. Rips on the seat at the bottom there, and on the side there. And of course I got pictures of that. Sans floor mat. Avec floor mat. See, I'm practicing my French. And then no back seat, just strut tower bar, provisions for seat belt, and the bottom cushion is still there. Funny thing, you still have the speakers, which don't look like they do very much speaking, or aren't very good at speaking anymore. And let's go into the trunk. The trunk dampers do work. And then you don't. One great thing about this one, and it's harder to find these, is an A70 that's not completely rusty. So you do have a couple of places here and there. Like you can see there's some surface stuff at the bottom there. But compared to your average one, I think this is way less. You don't have any running up here or at the top there. And the only one that I could find is right here. There's a crack in the paint. And I believe that would be rust underneath there. Whee! Okay, so the car needs a little bit of work. I think considering the price that was paid for it, it wasn't paying too much for this. Especially to find like a really good one of these, sometimes you have to pay close to 2 million yen, and that's just a lot for this car. And so to a lot of people, they like to have a car that'll need a lot of work if it means paying several $1,000s less for it. And so yeah, after this, it's time for test drive. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, post them in the comment section or check out our website. There's a link to that in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.